Kurt here, the Wisconsin Solar Guy. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Today I'm going to answer the question, should I go solar if I plan on moving? Should I go solar in Wisconsin if I plan on moving? I get asked that question all the time. And I would say that's probably the biggest fear people have of going solar. At least it's the biggest fear my customers seem to have. What happens is they look at solar, it makes sense, it saves them money, but they're looking at it and going, well, if I spend this money on solar and then I move, what's going to happen? And so then they start to get afraid and they ask the question, well, should I do this? What if I move? So what I did is I went through and wrote this article specifically for one of my customers. We'll call her Sarah, but she's going through this right now trying to decide because she might move. She doesn't even know when she'll move or how soon she'll move at this point, but she wonders what if, all these what ifs. So I went through and I wrote an article. You can check it out. The link's here. And in this article, I created a decision guide, a solar decision guide to help you evaluate and decide if going solar makes sense, if you might move. So go through this article. I'm also going to explain it in this video, exactly what the article says. The link to the article is below this video. So the first thing you've got to ask yourself, if you're considering solar seriously and you're not sure how long you're going to be in the house, the first question you want to ask yourself as you go through this guide is, are you for sure going to move within the next year? If the answer to that is yes, you're 100% you're going to move, then don't go solar. Reason being is solar takes 45 to 90 days to get it all up and powered, which means you'd have less than 9 months to receive the benefits, to reap the reward of your investment in solar before you sell the house. So don't go solar if you're sure you're going to move within 9 months or within a year. Wait till you get to your new place and then give me a call or shoot me an email. I'm Kurt at Wisconsin Solar Guy, and I'll give you an idea of what it looks like on your new home. So second, let's assume that you're not moving within the next year. You want to ask yourself, what are the odds of you moving in 2 to 5 years? Okay? After 5 years, you're pretty much always safe to go solar. But the question is, what if you move within 2 to 5 years? So ask yourself that question and decide how likely you are. If you're leaning towards moving within 2 to 5 years, then that's going to complicate things a little bit, but I still encourage you to go through this decision guide to see how likely it is. But if you're fairly certain, you know what, 2 to 5 years, I'm probably not going to move, then go through this guide and it will let you know if it's worth doing. This will let you know what your worst case scenario is should you move in less than 5 years. All right? So consider the cost. This is the third thing you want to do as you're trying to decide if solar is worth it if you move. You want to consider the cost of not going solar for the next 5 years. In other words, you want to calculate what you're going to spend with your utility company over the next 5 years if you don't go solar. Now, how do you calculate this? You've got to get an annual usage report or a personal history report. If you're with We Energies, you can go to their website. At the bottom of the page, it says Get a Personal Energy Report. Click on that, put in your account number, and they'll give you the last 2 years of usage, exactly how many kilowatt hours you've used, and exactly how much you spent in dollars on electricity. So you need to know that number. You need to know how much you've spent over the last 12 months, how much you spent over the last year. All right? With that number, you can now calculate how much money you're going to spend with the utility company over the next 5 years. Now, according to the Milwaukee Journal, We Energies raised their rates 4.8% from 2000 to 2014. So you'll want to take that into consideration when calculating these numbers. Nationwide, the average utility company raises their rates about 6% a year. So to do an accurate estimation, you'll probably want to estimate a 3 or a 4% increase to the cost of energy each year. So let's get started. Here's the easy way to calculate the least amount of money, the best case scenario that you're going to spend over the next 5 years. You take that total dollar amount from your energy usage report, your history. In the example I'm using, let's say it was $2,400. I used $2,400 in electricity last year, which is about right for my home, to be honest. Let's multiply that $2,400 number, or that year usage number, multiply that by 12 for 12 months. That will tell you how much, or sorry, not by 12, I apologize. We're doing the full year, not months. $2,400 for the year, multiply that by 5 to get the usage for 5 years. you're going to spend $12,000 in that example if your utility company doesn't raise their rates. So keep that in mind as you're debating if it's worth going solar. If you don't go solar for the next 5 years, if you wait, because what if I move in 4 years, then you're going to spend $12,000 in this example. Figure out what your number is and know what that is and compare that to the cost of your solar system. Okay? Next, if you want a more accurate number, the $12,000 would be best case scenario if rates don't change. If you want to have an idea of what it would be if they increase their rates yearly by around 3 or 4%, like most companies do, then you're going to want to use a compound interest calculator. And in the article, if you click the link here, I'll put it below this video. I'll also try to put it on the video. If you click that link, then it'll show you a compound interest calculator and how you use it. What you're going to do is you're going to take your first year amount, $2,400, plug that into the calculator as your principal. Then you're going to take 4% as your rate of increase, your APR. Then you're going to set the compounding to annually. It's going to compound every year. And then you're going to put how many times or how many years does it compound. You're going to put 1 and you're going to click calculate. Again with this compound interest calculator that I've given you in the link below. Okay, that's going to give you a new number. In my example, that number is $2,496. So year 1, I spend $2,400. Year 2, because of the rate increases on average, I'll spend $2,496 or $2,500. Now I need to figure out year 3 by taking year 2's number, $2,496, plugging that in with 4%, compounded annually, one time, calculate it. That gives me a new number of nearly $2,600. Okay, that's my year 3 cost of power. Then I take the year 3, I plug that in as the principal, $2,600, rate of increase 4%, annually and one time. I click calculate. Now that gives me almost $2,700. So now year 4, I'm spending $2,700. Again, I know I'm going fast for the video. I'm just trying to explain the article. To really break this down and understand it, if you're not following me, you need to go read the article. Again, the link's below. You need to run these numbers for your house so you know exactly how much solar is costing you and how much not going solar is costing you, so you can make an educated decision to know if it's worth going solar, even if you happen to move in 4 or 5 years. Okay? And then now I've got all 4 years. I need a 5th year, so I take that last number, 2,700, plug that into the calculator again as my principal at 4%, compounded annually, one time, calculate. I'm over $2,800. So right now I'm spending $2,400. If they continue to raise their rates by 4%, I'll be spending $2,800 in year 5. Okay? So you run those numbers and you add those 5 numbers together. For me, it ended up being almost $13,000, like $1 shy of $13,000. So on my system, if I don't switch, if I don't add solar to my house, over the next 5 years, I'm going to spend $13,000 with my power company. All right, you need to know that number. Now, let's compare that number to the cost of power. All right, the cost of the solar system. Let's deduct that number from the cost of the solar system. In my example, to get 100% offset on my home, I need a $20,000 solar system. So I take $20,000 and I subtract the $13,000 that I've got to spend anyways on We Energies. I now have a $7,000 solar system. Okay? So now the question is, all right, if at year 4 or 5 I move, can I recoup $7,000? Can I sell my house for enough more? Will someone want my house enough more that they'll value it at least $7,000 more than the neighbors because I have solar? So how do you figure that out? Well, there's not an exact science to it, but let me tell you my sister's story and then I'll show you the way I calculate it or the way I estimate it. Okay, my sister put solar on her house thinking she was going to live there the rest of their life. Then within a year, they got a job transfer for her husband, and had to sell the home. Well, because of solar, she was able to sell the house within 30 days for full asking price, and it was a great deal for her. All she had to do was say free power, and everybody wanted to buy the house. Okay, those are the kind of reports we're hearing all over the country of people selling homes that have PV or have solar panels. So how can you estimate about what your return is? You're going to want to use what Cal State Berkeley figured out when they did a study of 22,000 homes. Again, the exact data on this is on my website in the link below. But you're going to want to know those numbers going into this. And also, think of this. When you buy a home and you go to remodel it, you say, let's put a new kitchen on, or let's remodel the bathroom. You don't ask, well, I want a bathroom, but I might move in 3 years, so I'm not going to pay for a bathroom. No, you put the bathroom on because you want your house to be better. Okay? And then you hope that that increases your home value enough that you can recoup some of that cost. If you spend 20 grand on a bathroom, you'll never sell it for 20 grand more because of the bathroom. Okay? You'll recoup some of it, but not all of it. Solar's the same way. If you want a cleaner environment, if you want to not depend 100% on your utility company, if you want options besides just a monopoly, then you put solar on your home. If you happen to move in 3 or 4 years, then how much did that increase your property value, and how much of that will you get back when you sell your house? All right? You'll always sell your house enough to clear the solar. You won't always get 100% of what you paid for the solar. But bear in mind, you've gained free power for all the time you've been using that solar system. All right, so here's how you calculate, or estimate, I should say, roughly how much your home resale value will change if you have solar. So Cal State Berkeley put this study together where they studied 22,000 homes across 8 states, and what they found is astounding. They found that homes, on average, will sell for 0.92%, nearly 1% more for every kilowatt they have of solar power. Okay, so to figure this out for your home, let's say your home's worth $200,000. You multiply that by 0.0092, or 0.92%. That will give you $1,840 per kilowatt hour of your home, of solar that you have in your house. Now let's say the system you're looking at is 7 kilowatts. That's an average system size. 7 kilowatts times 1840 is almost $13,000. It's $12,880. So you take that number, and that's your rough estimate of how much you can expect your home to sell for should you go solar. That's your estimated resale value. Okay? So take that into consideration. We bought the solar for $20,000 in this example. We recouped $13,000 of that over 5 years in what we did not spend on power, on a power bill with the utility company. And we now have $7,000 remaining for what we invested in it. Well, if we can really sell our house for $13,000 more, then we'll more than recoup that cost when we sell the house. Thus making it make perfect sense to go solar if I'm going to move in 4 or 5 years from now. If I end up staying for 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 years, then my savings even get bigger. But if you stay in your home for a few years, that's how you calculate it. Now, if you're certain you're going to move in 3 years, do the same thing I just did, but calculate it with 3 years. See if it's worth it. Depending on the size of the system, depending on how much power you use, it may or may not be. So I'm just here to help you out, help you figure out if it makes sense. I'm the Wisconsin Solar Guy. Please like my YouTube channel or subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page. And if you want to go through the numbers and look at the options on your house, simply reach out to me. You can shoot me an email at kurt@wisconsinsolarguy.com. You can call me on my cell phone. I'll give it to you, 801-717-8572, 801-717-8572, or you can simply go on Facebook, send me a message. Whatever's easiest, get a hold of me. I'd love to help. Have a great day.